The air is glass, the lights are thin. We start again beneath the skin. A quiet pulse, a hidden grin. The night pulls us in. Your eyes reflect the sound. The world turns underground. Every move profound, every breath unbound. Your hands on for the dark. The silence leaves a mark. The rhythm lights a spark. We drift and bark. No fear, no sound, no rules around. Just hearts unbound. Just ground. Silver night, we fade away. Bodies speak what words can't say. Every beat we play keeps the dawn at bay. Silver night, don't explain. We lose, the shape remain. Every spark a chain inside the rain. Your breath, a slow design. The dark rewrites the line. No truth, no sign, just what's mine. The air bends soft and clear. You pull me near. The rhythm disappears, but I'm still here. Silver night, we fade away. Bodies speak what words can't say. Every beat we play keeps the dawn at bay. Soft like silk, a dark remains. Echoes hum through hidden veins. Nothing breaks, nothing stains. The silver night remains. Soft light falls, we fade in slow. Shadows curve where feelings go. No words tonight, no need to show. Just heartbeats echo, glow by glow. Your hands, they speak, they don't explain. Every touch rewrites the vein. I move, you pull, we lose again. The rhythm smooth, the heat remains. We dance inside the quiet air. Each breath a spark, a small affair. The night pretends it doesn't care, but something pulls us there. Close, don't hide, let the bass decide. Low tide, world denied. Golden hour in your eyes. The world below the silence lies. Every move a small disguise. We burn but never realize. Golden hour still in flame. hearts unbound. We spin around. Golden hour in your eyes. The world below the silence lies. Every move a small disguise. We burn but never realize. Soft like silk, the fire stays. Hidden deep in our ways. Every glow decays. But the rhythm plays. The air is low, the room is bare. A rhythm hangs us everywhere. You move slow, unaware. I follow, I'm there. Faint light cuts across your face. Time slows down, forgets its place. Every sound a soft embrace. Every move a trace. No words, no names, just flickering flames. No thought, no claim. We move the same. Under the echo we remain. No truth, no chain. The sound becomes our vein. The night hard to read. Under the echo we belong. The beat keeps us strong. Every drift, every wrong turns into song. Under the echo, stay. Don't let go. Under the echo, stay. Don't let go. Your breath repeats inside the room.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
The bass consumes the gloom. We move, we
Let's do a quick mic check. Can you guys hear me? A-okay?
fade. In the rhythm we made. No light, no shade, just the sound replay. Under the echo we remain. No truth, no chain. The night dissolves but still the same. I wish
Is the music too loud? Should I reduce it a tad bit? Are we good?
the air returns, the dark recedes. What goes to what the silence reads. The sound repeats, the body leads. Under the echo, it proceeds. Soft like silk, the shadows grow.
Alrighty, we just had a very interesting weekly close. In fact, the entire week, the price action was very, very interesting. So I want to talk about all of that today. There seems to be some confusion with how we approach the big Ichimoku play that we've been talking about in regards to the 3-day Kumo twist. So we're going to be addressing that today and a few other questions. Alrighty, I'm just setting up the chart to ensure that we don't miss anything. Alrighty, good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Sean Dexter and I welcome you back to yet another Mango live stream. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin today, what's likely going to play out with the war, with the entire oil situation. We're going to be giving you guys an update on everything we discussed over the past few weeks. I have a lot of updates for you guys in regards to the 3-day Kumo twist play, the weekly Ichimoku play. Also going to be talking about my higher time frame view on how I see two potential scenarios and how we need to be dynamic with both of the scenarios, right? Because there seems to be a confusion leading to how we have to approach the current price action. I don't think we should be as firm as people are looking to be at the moment. We need to be dynamic more than ever at this juncture. And I'm gonna give you guys some examples of how this has saved me so much in the past. Like, guys, I'm talking about life-changing wealth, okay? Had I been hard-headed back in those two cycles, I would not have reached where I have today. So we're going to be talking about that today. But before we do that, let's go ahead and see who we got over here in the chat. How's it going, Eric? Good to see you. Mark is in here too. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Yeah, I love the shirt, man. So freaking comfy. Who else? Sai, good to see you in here. Honcho, my man, good morning, good morning, good morning. Right back at ya. Tan is in here too. Good. Oh, we got everyone in here. Everyone in here. All right. Today, how do you guys want to approach this? I have all my charts laid out over here. Okay, and I see that this is an approach. There we go, much better. There were a couple of really interesting questions. One by a seedling, Exin. I didn't have the time to, or rather, it's just difficult to answer as well as I'd want to while chatting in the private C chat. So I'm going to address this question over here today. I also want to address this really, really well-crafted question by Anita Mandal. Not sure how to pronounce your last name. I do apologize if I butchered it. Now, I urge you guys to go read it or pause and zoom in over here when you guys do watch this live stream later. But I've highlighted a few key points that I did want to target. I've already answered a question via reply as well, but again, it's really hard to get all my thoughts out while typing, right? So I want to talk about both of these questions today. There's some really interesting points in both of them. One is more to do in regards to how we can execute on the plan, because there seems to be some confusion in regards to multi-time frame analysis and how we can approach it, how we should approach it. And over here, this is more related to just general trading psychology, investment psychology, and I think this is more important than anything else. The questions over here are critical to your development as a trader, your wealth building as an investor, everything. Again, trying to keep an eye on the chat as well. Good morning, right back at you, Shiro. Okay, so let's dive right into it. You didn't butcher my... Oh, you're in here, Anita. Good to see you. Okay, cool. It's great that you're in here. So if I am misinterpreting anything that you did ask in here, you can correct me. We can have a back and forth too. I'm not going to spend... There's so much in here that I wish I could spend the entire live stream just talking about everything in here, but I do want to talk about price too, so we can come back to your questions again later in this week. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and pick and choose the highlighted bits. I'm going to zoom in for everyone else's sake. So the general gist of what Anita is asking is, hey Sean, I appreciate what you and Krisha are saying. I see your points most definitely as to why price could go up over here. However, there are other points provided by other traders in the space that are suggesting that price could keep going down, and they make really, really good points as well. And what I want to say is that we need to, as a community, get out of the mindset that there's only one person that can be right? Everyone can be right. And people confuse that. Yeah, how can everyone be right? Price can either go up or price can go down. The reason I say that is because of this idea I try to push out to all of you guys, is that what matters is your series of decisions that you make and not one particular decision. As soon as you get stuck in the mindset that you are trying to get every single trade right, you are trying to be right on this particular decision over here, you have already lost the game. You've already lost the plot, right? And that gets a lot of newer traders, a lot of newer investors stuck in a trap of bouncing between two different or three or four or five different traders / investors, right? So what I've done over here is I've just set up a series of trades by two traders. I'm gonna list it here, trader A, and switch to blue, trader B. Okay, now I've simplified it, and all we're going to care about over here is the win rate, okay, not the win magnitude. I'm going to come back to that in a bit because the win magnitude changes everything, right? But what I have over here is 15 trades, okay? Each one represents a winning trade, each 0 represents a losing trade. And you can see that both traders are successful traders at the end of it, right? At the end of 15 trades, trader A has a 73% win rate and trader B has a 67% win rate. Now you guys might be thinking, whoa, trader A made more money than trader B. That's not necessarily true, and we'll come back to that in a bit. But I want to show you guys the typical emotions that a viewer goes through when watching a trader on YouTube or Twitter or any platform for that matter. And this is where you have to differentiate the difference between a trader and a forecaster. A trader is never trying to be right. A trader is trying to make money, okay? And if he wants to make money and be successful in the space in a sustainable, consistent manner for years and decades to come, and this applies to investors as well, he's going to have an approach, a framework, a set of rules that he's going to follow no matter what, and he's going to repeat them consistently. A forecaster just wants to be right to build clout, build ego, and build respect. He's building his network as opposed to building his wealth, right? He's trying to be right. Because you, as a viewer, let's say you start watching Trader A somewhere around this trade, okay? You see, oh man, this guy's right. He got that trade right. Okay, I'm going to watch again. Oh man, he got this trade right too. I'm going to watch again. Damn, he's gotten 3 in a row. He has to be a genius. He knows what's going to happen for sure in the future. In the meanwhile, you're also watching Trader B, okay? And you're like, oh man, this guy's getting it right too. But I like Trader A. You know what? I like Trader A. I'm going to go and follow his trade. And the next trade, because he's gotten right 3 times now, you follow his next trade, right? And then you get the losing trade, okay? His next trade is a losing trade. And you're like, whoa, what the hell? He was supposed to win, but oh, clearly he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's a charlatan, he's fake, blah, blah, blah. Trader B is the right guy because he has so much conviction in everything that he's saying on YouTube. He has so much certainty, right? And you look at this guy's win over here, you compare Trader A to Trader B, you dismiss Trader A now, and you hop on to Trader B strategy, right? Now you've gone from one approach to a completely different approach, right? And what happens is you take Trader B's next trade, which happens to be a loser. And you're watching Trader A too, just to feel that validation that, you know what, I was right to dump Trader A, right? It's kind of like what you do with your girlfriends, right? You dump a girlfriend, and you're looking at her as your ex, and you're constantly checking on Instagram or Facebook or whatever you guys use to see that her life is miserable, right? So now you're watching Trader A and you're wanting him to lose or wanting her to lose because you're not following that strategy, right? But what ends up happening is Trader A has a winning trade, and you're like, oh man, what am I doing? You just go into this loop of constant frustration, because now you'll find another trader, because Trader B is clearly a fraud too, right? You'll find Trader C, and you'll just keep hopping and hopping and hopping. And what you don't realize you're doing is that you're hopping strategies and you're not seeing anything to its fruition, because the fruition comes only at the end when you follow an approach constantly. This is why I implore you guys to build your own approach, build your own strategy, so you build confidence in seeing it consistently through to its end, not just one trade and looking to be right every single time. Now, Anita, I'm not saying that this is what you're doing, but I'm using your question over here as a way to send this idea across to all the newer folk who are watching Mango recently, expecting every single call to be right. And by the way, Mango has nailed it this entire cycle. Like, we have actually gotten all the Bitcoin calls right. But even though we, if you guys go back and watch all the videos, one of the most educational things you guys can do is watch the videos when Bitcoin was sitting at 16K. I had literally said 120K when Bitcoin was sitting at 16K. We were Jan 3rd, because I have all my notes on OneNote. Remember, I was like scribbling through OneNote for you guys. Jan 3rd, we said 120K, right? Now, this leads me to my next bit that I want to address over here. You use this phrase here, rock bottom price, and I'm gonna read out this entire line over here. I think the belief is actually more so that Bitcoin could potentially go as low as that value by around October 2026, and that could be its rock bottom price. Didn't say could, and it's a rock bottom price. Now, you're referring to around the $35,000 to $45,000 level. A rule that we have over here at Mango that has served us really, really well is that there is no such thing as a rock bottom price. There is no such thing as a rock top price. There is no top, there's no bottom. Price will keep going lower and lower and lower and lower. Price will keep going higher and higher and higher and higher. To the point that even when Bitcoin hit our target of $120,000, I was not gonna put forth any certainty to you guys that this is the top. No way. I was never gonna do that, because we have a rule over here that we will follow. It ended up being the top, right? But am I going to trade it that way? No, we've reached there. It could go higher and higher. When do we say that it's the top? Only in hindsight, when the trend is lost. When we have a clear, objective way to say that we've been following a certain trend indicator all cycle, and that was our invalidation, and price has been holding it the entire time, and now it's lost that level, right? I'm not saying you don't take profits at 120K. Take profits, but having that mindset that price could go up higher will stop you from doing stupid stuff that I did in the past, where I took all my profits off the table, and then that asset went on to do another 50x after. Like that's how crazy things used to get back in the day, in 2017 all the way to 2020. You'd be so sure, right, that because you got a 10x, you should take everything off the table. But then all I had to do was leave only 10% of my position, and I would have made that much more money, right? So you allowing that idea in your head that price could go higher will allow you to capture that upside move. Similarly, at around 35K, let's say we get there, if you get that thought in your head, guys, that hey, price, this is the rock bottom price, I can't go any lower than this, you will not leave room for the possibility that we go all the way back down to 17K, 20K. And people said the same thing to me when I had suggested, and Kusha knows this, back when we were here in 2019, before the COVID dump. I said we could go back down to 3K. I actually drew it out for you guys. Did I know COVID was going to happen? No, but the TA allowed for 3K to happen. So why dismiss the idea just because we bounced off that level? People were so sure, nope, we're never going to go back down to 3K again. Entertain all possibilities. Price can go lower than you think, price can go higher than you think, okay? Now, going back to your comment over here. I respect your perspective, even though it's in such contradistinction from three others that I follow. They could all be right. Everyone could be right, because they don't need to be right on that one particular trade. And you need to be okay embracing uncertainty in this space. As soon as you come into the space expecting certainty, you're already cooked. Certainty is hubris. You have to be okay with, I'm not sure what is actually going to happen. I have a set of rules and I have an approach that is guiding my hand on what I should do. It is those moments of uncertainty that you make your most money, because you are following your rules even though it feels so uncomfortable. I've often said this to you guys. That moment of discomfort is when you have the most opportunity to make money, on the upside and the downside. Price is going up and up and up, and you're feeling so uncomfortable to take profits. In hindsight, how often has it been that those were the best times to take profits? Right? So, similarly, when price is going down and down, and you don't want to buy, right? When you don't want to buy, that's usually the time, in hindsight especially, you're like, damn, that's when I should have bought, right? If you're feeling comfortable buying, you should really step back and be like, maybe I'm a bit too excited, right? It's never comfortable. Every time I've made a lot of money, it's never been a comfortable time. All right. I understand you feel that the reason BTC went much lower last time was due to the FTX collapse. Now, I'm not sure if Krisha thinks this, right? But I certainly don't. In fact, it's the complete opposite for me. Last cycle, it was the FTX collapse and the lack of price going down that convinced me that this is a really good time to start looking for a bottom. Because if you guys look at the chart, right, FTX was a massive, I can't even pinpoint where the FTX candle is. Look at that. The FTX collapse was a massive event in crypto, and this is all we got. We should have had a monster red candle, right? Similarly, what I'm seeing right now, guys, is the same story with Bitcoin at the moment, right? We have, with the entire US Iran war, right? The oil situation. We had oil go all the way up to freaking $120 overnight, and Bitcoin did not budge. We don't even see the red on the chart over here, right? So I posted this on Discord the day it happened. I'm like, guys, geez, I wonder. We are seeing oil go up to 120 and Bitcoin barely budge. I wonder what the play is. I wonder, right? It was like a sarcastic way to say it is so obvious that we are at the very least gonna see a short-term rally. Now, this takes us back to the other bit of your question, and this is where I 100% agree with you and them. Now, I don't know who these traders are. Wolves of Crypto, Mega Whale Crypto. I've been in the space for a while. I've never heard of these guys, but I'm pretty sure they're really adept because you're following them, right? And you wouldn't follow them. This question is well put together too. So I'm going to respect the people that you follow by association. So they very likely know what they're talking about, right? And this bit over here, especially, where you say that the next leg down, I'm going to read it out. They make a lot of sense that we are headed to the next leg down, and that these tiny rallies are common and just fake outs based on the last cycle. There's a more technical way that you should approach this a little bit, and you should approach it through a trading perspective. In that, I'm going to redraw this for you guys, right? Every move can be broken down into trend. Low time frames or high time frames, right? At the moment, we are in a high time frame downtrend, right? We have a massive leg down, right? Just because we get one bounce up doesn't make it a reversal. You need entire structure to be put in place. And the structure for an uptrend is a higher low compared to the low, and then a higher high, right? This high over here needs to be taken out, and this low over here needs to be set in place. We don't have this. I'm talking about the high time frame trend over here, guys, not the low time frames. This leg over here is based off the weekly and the bi-weekly, hell, even the monthly. We don't have this yet. So until then, all we have is a downtrend. So what you guys need to be looking for is trend continuation all the time. Downtrends move like this, and people get excited in all of these moves over here, right? How often do people say, this is reversal, this is reversal, this is reversal, and all you get is a leg down, leg down, leg down, leg down. These aren't just tiny rallies. These are trend continuation moves. These are profit-taking areas where bears begin to close out their shorts in an effort to take profits. And when you're closing out a short, what are you doing? You are buying, right? So shorts end up becoming buyers. However, when you start seeing an actual trend reversal, that's when you can start increasing your bullishness, because it's not enough even if you see this, by the way, right? Usually it's not enough, because you could just have a complex move, which is actually another way of saying, or rather the bear flag that people follow is a simplified version of looking at a complex trend where we see continuation towards the downside, right? So I'm not going to get into all of the complexities over here. If you guys are interested in the Mango Seed program, I talk about this in detail in the advanced trend analysis module. Oh, and by the way, there is a, wait, I have it here. There is a coupon running at the moment. Where is it? Here, Cake 26 for Krisha's birthday. So check out all the programs, the dashboard, etc. are all on sale for Krisha's birthday. Cake 26. So I completely agree with this, right? But at the same time, we have to acknowledge Krisha's analysis on the fact that there are lots of things pointing to a potential macro support over here. And if you already sold, and Anita, you sold at 126, right? There's no reason to even care about what's going on over here, right? So let me go ahead and pull up the chart again. We have to acknowledge the fact that, one, we had a massive bearish move in the macro markets, and Bitcoin barely reacted. That's screaming seller exhaustion. Two, Krisha has drawn out for us many reasons as to why this is macro support. We have the 200 moving average on the weekly, 200 exponential moving average on the weekly, and historically those have been a good band to stop being bearish, right? I'm not going to say you should most definitely be buying those levels, but at the very least, taking a step back and being cautious with your bearishness is warranted. You can say, I'm going to wait for good levels to be bearish if you're looking to short, right? Maybe you don't want to buy yet. That's completely fine. That depends on your financial situation, how exposed you are to crypto, etc., etc., etc. But you have to acknowledge we have the Kumo twist over here that we talked about a very long time ago. Remember over here, guys, where we drew out every single scenario. I'd marked out every single scenario where the 3-day flipped red and has led to a massive bear move towards the downside, right? And that's exactly what happened after, because remember, this cloud turns red 30 days in advance, right? So if you mark it out on the chart, this was when the cloud turned red at around $95,000. And we got the big down move. However, we also pointed out how the Kumo twist, now this is a general Mango Ichimoku strategy that we follow. Every time we see the Kumo twist, we expect a move into the Kumo or a move up into the Kumo, depending on how far price, or depending on whether price is underneath the cloud or above the cloud, right? So here we are underneath the cloud. So we were expecting the Kumo twist to see play as well. The issue with the Kumo twist is that you can never predict how high it's going to go or how low it's going to go. All you can say is that there's a probability that we may see a move into the Kumo. It could stop halfway through. It could stop very, very shallow. It could stop right here, right? For all intents and purposes, this could be the Kumo twist that plays out. I don't think so. But when you use a multi-time frame analysis, the fact that we have Krisha's weekly levels, the Kumo twist playing out as well, we can start to begin to look towards our other theory, which actually leads us to Xin's question right over here. What he's asking is, hey, Sean, why are we looking at the 3-day time frame if the high time frames is what we should be focusing on? If the high time frames are bearish, if the weekly cloud is what we should be looking at, is the 3-day more important? No, it's not more important. High time frames always win out. But if you start seeing the mid time frames give you that underlying force, that underlying movement to go and capture high time frame trends, then you get to mentally prepare to increase your aggression, to start pre-positioning maybe a tad bit to help with your position average entry, right? Because if the 3-day Kumo twist plays out over here, guys, it's gonna activate the weekly cloud getting reclaimed far before the Kumo twist plays out in its entirety. So how do we approach this? Well, step by step. And this is what I mean by being dynamic with everything. If we have that hubris mindset that, no, we are definitely going to go down to 35K to 40K, you are going to end up in the same situation that a lot of my friends ended up in 2018, 2019, where they wanted Bitcoin to go down to 1.5K because of their ego, because they made that call and they never got back into position. Bitcoin rallied all the way up to 14K first. They missed the COVID dump because now COVID is so scary to buy into. They didn't buy that either. You constantly are waiting for lower and lower, and then Bitcoin went up to 50K, right? You don't want to end up in that situation. You want to say, am I seeing the signs? Am I seeing the signs? And personally, I'm not seeing the signs yet entirely to get stupidly bullish, the way Krisha is bullish, right? When do I see the signs? Well, I'm actually asking for a lot at this structure, right? I'm not convinced. I want Bitcoin to claim the cloud, put a high low inside the cloud, test the top of the cloud, maybe put another high low, and then break out of the cloud like this. If we put in a structure like this, look at what I just drew, by the way, guys. This is looking like an inverted head and shoulders, right? So I'm looking for an edge to edge and then a claim of the cloud, right? Then we can say, okay, you know what? This is actually lining up with August, right? Anita, this is going to line up with what the people you are following. They are looking for a bottom over there, right? Well, the bottom may actually end up being a few months earlier. Do we really want to time a 4-year cycle exactly to the month? No, we don't, right? It may end up being an invalidation of the bear cycle, the bottom, right? This could end up looking like a bottom in hindsight. Right now, it's not, right? Around 95K to 100K. But if Bitcoin reaches my targets, of $750,000. I'm not saying it's happening next cycle. It could happen next to next cycle. But in hindsight, even if Bitcoin gets up to 500K, this is going to look like a bottom, right, at around 100K. So we have to be dynamic with that idea shaping. If we get stuck in the mindset that, okay, I'm okay with Bitcoin rallying, right, but eventually it's going to come down. When are you wrong on that idea that Bitcoin rallies but continues to rally? You need to have an invalidation, right? If you are of the mindset that Bitcoin goes up to, let's say, 95K, right, and then comes down immediately, okay, cool. You need to have an invalidation on this not playing out. When is that invalidation? Well, you have to say, okay, we go up to 95K, we put in a higher low, and then we put in a higher high. Exactly what I drew out over here for you guys, that high, low, high, high structure. So that point where you expected Bitcoin to reject and just keep going down after, that's your invalidation, right? You have to tell yourself, right, Anita, whoever else is bearish, that point is the point where I want to see price get tested. Then if you put in a high, low, and take out that point, that's my invalidation. I think Bitcoin is going to keep going up there from there, and I have to make a decision as to whether I want to get back in at that point, or I don't care about the asset enough in my portfolio. I'm okay with it going. I don't need this asset in my portfolio. I don't want any part of it, right? That's fine too, right? But you need to make all of those decisions now. Don't make emotional decisions at the time, right? You need to tell yourself, if Bitcoin does not allow me to buy at 45,000, I'm never buying it. If you're okay with that, then that's fine. But this is how you make good investment decisions. This is how you make good trading decisions. You are pre-positioning for your emotions and the market throwing you a curveball, right? To have that hubris that we are definitely going down to 35K and I'm not entertaining any ideas other than that, is setting yourself up for failure. And I'm not trying to be harsh on any of you, right? I'm just telling you guys how I've approached the markets, and it has really, really paid off for me, because I've always kept a dynamic approach to markets never topping where I expected to top, markets never bottoming where I expected to bottom. And when I see the signs, I get in. When I see the signs, I get out, right? We had much higher targets for Bitcoin, but there was one key invalidation. I mean, we had 120K, and then as soon as we hit 120K, we look up higher. If it hit high after that, I would have kept looking higher and higher. The one thing I was firm on was my invalidation, right? What was that invalidation all cycle, guys? Very, very simple. Mango dynamic. We just followed this. It was the easiest cycle ever. Buy, lost it here, exit, boom, right? We could do this by all means. Yeah, we could. But we could also do this. Or we could do this. 3 plausible scenarios where structure is being put in with high lows before making it to the upside, right? Any questions? Those sound like awesome. See the music. There we go. And remember, guys, I want you guys to really spend some time thinking about this. This is just not pertaining to trader A or trader B. This is pertaining to approaches and strategies that you guys are jumping from, right? You guys could be trading trend analysis one day, and then the very next day you switch to support and resistance, and then the very next day you're on Elliott wave analysis, and the next day you're doing GAN-FAN. There's no one single winning strategy. There are a million ways to make money in this market. There's only a couple of ways to lose money in this market, which is why if you focus on being a good loser, it is so much easier to just be a winner after that, right? In fact, I think there's only 1 or 2 ways of losing money in this market, stupidly. So you just have to focus on being a really, really good loser, which is why the Mango C program, again, now more than ever, guys, this is the phase. Usually you guys know I don't push this, but if you guys are looking to learn, now more than ever, consider the Mango C program. Where is it? Here you go. Coupon code CAKE26. My entire edge, my entire strategy in that risk management module, 5.5 hours of just risk management, is not because it's the simplistic risk management that you guys see in other YouTube or whatever, or Twitter. It's a strategy. I often tell people that you take away all my indicators, take away all my tools. Okay, just give me a coin that allows me to decide whether I go long or short, but give me my risk management strategy to deploy on the charts, right? With the risk management strategy and a coin, I will still beat 95% of traders. That's how powerful it is. So really recommend putting in the time and the effort now, because this is honestly, guys, your life that you're talking about. You know, we spend freaking 6 years in university. 6 years in university, and then after that, I'm assuming that you do your masters. 6 years if you do your masters, like I did. But let's say 4 years, or 6 years, or maybe 10 years if you do your PhD. But then we don't even want to spend freaking 10 hours, or 20 hours, or 50 hours actually learning how to manage our money. Do it during the bear market. And you don't need to, by the way, get the C program. It's if you're okay and you have all the time and you don't want the structure and the method, everything is on. All of our live streams, etc., is all free, right? You can go onto our Discord. We have a bunch of highlights, all time stamped, and a bunch of free content as well. TD Todd says I'm sticking with 10-day dynamic on volatility settings. Yeah, that was a good find, by the way. That was a really good find. Hey Sean, that was great. Do you think waiting for the reclaim of the weekly, bi-weekly, and a test is a reasonable strategy for BTC? Obviously, a danger, it blows through. That's such a good question, man. And I'm in the same boat as that. That's what I'm doing personally. I know Kusha's really bold. I'm just not comfortable buying here, man. Like, just at the top of the cloud and top of the range over here too. At the bottom of the range, that's when I deployed, right? And I told everyone on Discord, right? Again, I can't come here and do a video as soon as, also doing a video to say, hey, I'm buying, makes this a very calls-like channel. So if you guys are not on the Discord, make sure you join. Discord is free, themangoway.com/Discord. So I came in and said, what I'm seeing over here with the whole US oil and the war and Bitcoin not reacting at all, I've seen this before, and it's highly probable that we see further upside over here. I don't know how much higher, but I'm going to start positioning now. This is spot, by the way. I'm not putting on any leverage trades here. I'm just not comfortable. You know how I put on leverage trades at around 17K, that 16.8K to 19.9K region? I don't have that confidence here. Okay, so I'm not gonna BS you guys if I don't have that confidence. Like over here, I was building a leverage trade. Over here, I don't have the guts to put on a leverage trade over here. I'm also really busy right now with real life matters, and my mom is visiting too. I just don't have the time to manage a leverage trade. That being said, I'm not even going to be buying spot over here at 74K. Once we claim the weekly cloud, you are right that there's a risk that we just blow through and see the edge to edge. I don't think so though. I don't think we're going to do that. I don't know. Let me just delete all these drawings though. Let's explore that. Let's explore that question. Okay, because I'm going to show you guys how I'm looking at it. If you go ahead and turn on your entire Ichimoku, you can see the Tenkin beginning to push down, right? This is something that we've been talking about in the seed private chat, where Julian is going to be keeping a track on this for us as to, okay, this is what I don't want. I don't want the Tenkin coming and living underneath the cloud. As soon as the Tenkin starts living underneath the cloud, at that point, I'm looking towards what Anita is saying too. We're likely going to start pushing lower and lower, right? Because if you guys go and test this, every time the Tenkin has broken underneath the cloud, price has continued, right? Historically, like I've shown this to you guys in the last stream, right? And I'm going to go through it right now again. I don't want to digress, but what I want is price to claim the Tenkin. But that's not going to come without a fight from the bears. So when we claim the cloud, even if we do blow through, we're going to see an initial rejection somewhere around the Tenkin. We're going to get that high low then, and we can look to bid that, and then look for the claim of the Tenkin. High low, claim of the Kijun. Kijun likely gonna dip a tad bit by then. Edge to edge complete. What does Bitcoin do? Do we do what Hype has done? Let me go ahead and show you guys. I've been again following Hype. I posted this again in our Discord, the public Discord. Hype on the daily had a Kumo break, right? And the cloud has flipped green. You guys see that? If we see that kind of edge to edge play on Bitcoin and a Kumo break over here, and then we see the cloud flip red, we are gonna then look to see whether Bitcoin has a Kumo break, Kumo twist, higher low, and higher high. There's so much time. If you guys look at how the series of events playing out, for us to position with more confidence as opposed to getting a good price, right? More confidence means high position sizing. Good price could be low position sizing, right? Could mean nothing. You can go in with more conviction, more size, even though you don't get the best price. So this would be great. You know why? Because now we have red cloud flipping back into green cloud, double Kumo twist, and reclaim of the TK as well. That would be so good, right? I'd be able to position for like 400K at that point. Me too, Todd. Me too. I've been coping way harder than you. I'm not sure whether we had a massive, long conversation. I didn't see it as well. I was supposed to get in at around 13.5, and you saw Hype at 12. I was watching it way earlier than that too, and then I watched it go all the way down. I watched it go up, just got complacent on it and missed the entire trade. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to go to the dashboard, but I also want to take a quick second to show off the new dashboard. Again, this is still in beta. We're still testing it internally. It's not officially released to you guys, but it will be getting released soon. And there are likely going to be changes to the pricing with the new dashboard. So those of you who are looking to sign up, do so now, because you'll get grandfathered in into the newer dashboard without any change in price. And holy, is this beautiful. Look at how gorgeous this is. It's cleaner than TradingView. You can literally just click add indicator over here. What we're going to do is add a simple moving average, and we're going to switch it over here to 200. You can also change the color to whatever you want. We're going to keep it red, because what I want to do is essentially highlight Krisha's zone that she's been marking out over here, right, between the 200 exponential moving average and the 200 moving average on the weekly time frame. We also have the 21 EMA coming in and pressing on price over here. So if you guys look at the whole picture, right, I showed you guys how the cloud is right overhead. We have the 21 EMA right overhead. We have the 200 and 200 exponential moving average sandwich underneath. We are set up now for a nice squeeze and break into the cloud, or a rejection over here. The way price has been moving though, it is more likely that we claim the 21 EMA than we get rejected over here, right? Because we already kind of disrespected it on this first move over here, got the fake out, broke underneath, back down, market immediately moved down to the 200 and 200 exponential moving average. By the way, are you guys seeing how freaking clean this is? Jesus Christ. Something else that I do want to show you, and look how snappy it is. We have a very clear ascending triangle structure over here. All right, I can do this now, guys. I can actually highlight an entire area for you guys. Oh, we gotta make sure that sticks, the drawing sticks, right? So we have this ascending triangle structure, and if I just highlight it and just color it like that, right, where do your eyes immediately get drawn to? This zone here, right? So now if you're playing this ascending triangle, right off the bat you have a moving average dynamic target, right? Because this is going to keep moving as price is moving. The faster we go up, the higher the target. That kind of lines up with a short squeeze kind of move, right? An exciting move, right? However, the slower it goes, the lower the target. Not that much lower because this is a 200 moving average after all, but lower nonetheless. However, the slower it goes also leads to healthier price action. That could eventually lead to structure where we actually put in a high low somewhere here. And somewhere over here at around, let's say our target's around 92,000 to 87,000, get rejected over there, put in a high low somewhere around 78,000. And then we claim the 200 moving average and 200 exponential moving average. Again, that could line up with a cloud Kumo claim as well. You can clear everything with a quick delete button over here too. I just love this. I just love this. If you guys want, you can quickly even add the Ichimoku, which is right over here on the chart with Mango settings. As you guys can see, it's freaking clean as hell. You can delete things so simply, right? And here we have clean Ichimoku over here. What else do we have? Any suggestions for us? Let us know. Ooh, this one's really nice. Automatic fair value gaps, right? So your FEGs are drawn out as well, and you guys can use this for your targets and bidding as well, right? You can see that if you use your FEGs for bidding, you would have been bidding over here at around $66,000. You would have been bidding this entire zone over here at around $69,000, and now your target would be somewhere around $80,000. First target, second target around $84,000 to $85,000. This is freaking good job, Mark. Good job. He's been killing it. Everyone give Mock a massive round of applause. You guys can find the new dashboard at the original link at app.mangoresearch.co. For now, we've not released this just yet. Everything is getting overhauled. Even the main dashboard over here, everything's going to be looking much nicer, much cleaner, much faster, much snappier. Okay. So now let's actually go through the dashboard. What I like to do every night before going to bed is I just literally toggle through the time frames, and I keep my eye on the right-hand corner over here. What I'm looking for is to see what the general trend of the market is, and if it has been switching. And yes, recently it has been switching. The 4-hour is now long. The 12-hour over here is long. The daily is neutral. It's been short for the longest time. The 2-day is still short. The 4-day is still short. The weekly is still short, right? So the high time frames are still applying the downward pressure on the market. The lower time frames, however, are beginning to show signs of relief, signs of strength. Something else that I do like to do is I go ahead and filter out all the Bitcoin pairings, right? By clicking BTC over here, you filter out all the Bitcoin pairings. And then what I do is hit the long filter. I start with the weekly, and then I go backwards all the way down to the 4-hour time frame. What does this do for me? It tells me whether or not we are beginning to see signs of an altcoin season. Because remember, we are looking at altcoins over here against Bitcoin, right? So when I start seeing many longs, right, I'm beginning to see, okay, we're seeing alts outperform Bitcoin in general. This is literal color analysis. This way, I avoid the trap of looking at Bitcoin dominance, where you will see Ethereum move the Bitcoin chart on its own. You don't want that, right? For altcoin season, you won't see many alts outperform Bitcoin, right? So it's not one market cap weighted coin moving the Bitcoin dominant chart. Over here, you're seeing a lot of them outperform or not. So over here on the weekly, we have only 6 coins outperforming Bitcoin. On the 4-day, only 7 coins outperforming Bitcoin. On the 2-day, 6. On the daily, there you go. We're beginning to start seeing some strength. 13 coins. Not all that much, but still better than before. It was terrible not too long ago. 12-hour, 15. And over the 4-hour, okay, 27. Some signs of relief. Is this convincing me enough to go on all coins? Of course not, right? How easy was that, guys? How easy was that? Wait, you guys can't see the thingy. Right over here, it shows you the amount of coins that are long against Bitcoin. So 27 for the 4-hour. If you go on over to the 12-hour, you can see that it's only 15. You go on over to the daily, it's only 13. You go on over to the 2-day, it's only 6. Oh, it keeps moving, right? So yeah, I'm doing my best. Okay, let's see what Steve is saying. Steve says, would the macro make a difference if oil causes inflation, rates rise, dollar strengthens, and stocks drop? If all of those things happen, it's going to be extremely difficult for Bitcoin to go up. If Bitcoin continues to go up even in those conditions, then that is really strong strength, and you need to be buying into that strength, because it means that when all of those things unwind, right, when the inflation subsides, when the dollar strengthens, or dollar weakens again, and stock starts showing some strength. When all of those things unwind, Bitcoin is going to be going up that much higher, because all of that fear that was keeping everyone else away from Bitcoin, they're like, oh, whoa, all that fear is no longer a concern. I'm going to be buying Bitcoin, right? So if Bitcoin goes up, even under those conditions, you need to be buying to that strength. But will it? Those are all headwinds. Those are all headwinds. Dude, Trader Fraser is one of the most old school Mongol in here. So he's seen the dashboard evolve more than anyone else. And Fraser, trust me, man, you guys have not seen like even 10% of how cool this is going to be. There's so much more coming. Okay, Tan says, looks amazing. Looks like I'll be paying higher for it in the future when I want it. Oh well. It's like paying for Bitcoin. Sometimes you just okay paying higher for when you are actually comfortable buying Bitcoin, right? If you're not comfortable here, guys, don't buy into it. If you're seeing resistance here and you're already really stretched on your crypto exposure, there's no reason to be buying here, especially if you got out at a really high price. Like Anita says that she got out around $126,000. So if you're getting out at those kind of prices, you have a lot of buffer to be able to get back in, right? So relax, guys. There's a lot of time. There's no reason to be stressed about this. Good time to be grandfathered into the system. Yes, indeed. Okay. Anything that we want to talk about? I think hype is one of the stronger coins. It has been this entire bear market. So please keep an eye on it. Again, do not forget that we are running a coupon for Krisha's birthday. Coupon is Cake26, applies on the dashboard as well. The Mango Dynamic and the Mango C program, the Mango Lifeline too. I forgot to put it here. Apologies. Everything. Let's see. Is there anything else I want to talk about? I think we're good. Any specific questions? Like, look at this. This is insane. And Bitcoin barely budged, guys. This should have caused massive panic. Bitcoin is the one thing you can sell at all times, right? So even if the markets are closed, you can still sell Bitcoin. So people could have been hedging their portfolios by selling Bitcoin. But you did not see Bitcoin move. We are seeing absolute seller exhaustion at the moment. Oh, need to refresh this. Okay, I think I'll wrap there. We went through everything. I'm just trying to make sure that we did. Oh, right. I do want to talk about this. This is one last bit I do want to talk about. I drew out this band, like I think a month or so ago, where this was just a timing band, had nothing to do with directional price. As you guys can see, I drew it out in both directions, right? Just go ahead and remove the Ichimoku for now. I drew it up and down. Essentially, what I was saying was that somewhere around this timing band, we are likely going to have either an upside move or a downside move, right? Usually, we see something like that. It does seem to be playing out. Remember, this could still go down. We just know, or rather, this analysis, we don't know anything. Remember, certainty is hubris. We just know. I keep saying no. We are placing a probability on a volatile move happening in this band, right? Either an upside or downside move. At the moment, it does seem to be an upside move. The probability is leaning to an upside move. I will get bearish if we break underneath, we close a candle underneath 65,000. And most definitely, if I see even a daily candle close underneath this low over here around 59,887, even a daily candle close underneath there, it does not need to be a weekly. A daily candle close underneath there, and I'm looking for a move all the way down to around $35,000 to $45,000. Likely going to make our way there, right? Let's see, is there support? There's support around 44, and then 35. Yeah. So a daily candle close. I don't think these guys are going to hold here. It could. We should not we should not ignore this zone here. So I'm going to mark it out 55 to 49. That could be the surprise. Let's mark out a surprise fake out. Okay, a surprise fake out to the downside. We have to entertain this. It seems like something that Bitcoin could do, where we go up over here a tad bit, and then when we do make our way down, right, I'll draw it out like a little bit more technical. Give me a sec. Let me zoom in for that. Essentially, what would end up looking like the perfect bear flag, we only stop here, bear flag breakdown, stop here, and then make our way up. This is provided this zone over here holds. Okay, this is a zone that we have to respect. Okay, it's the perfect spot to put in a bear trap where everyone expects continuation down to around 35k, 45k, but we don't. So just be careful over there. Like, Bitcoin has done this several times in the past. If you guys think back over here, this was the perfect head and shoulders continuation that everyone was looking at. Mango flip bullish because we were pre-expecting it, right? Not because we did it after the fact. We had drawn it out and said, if this scenario plays out, it's going to be one of our plays called the mango fake out breakout pattern, right? And it played out. But I could have gotten trapped in this too, and I could have gone bearish had I not seen the play. So everyone who did get bearish over here, it was completely warranted, because look at that, it's a complete break, right? Let me draw it out for you guys. Right? If you drew it out like that, I did not. You could have also looked at it as a perfect bear flag that broke down, right? So Bitcoin has had a history of doing shit like this. Forgive my French, where you see a perfect breakdown, expect continuation, you see support where no one expected it, and then break to the upside. Okay, with that, guys, I'm gonna wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. If you guys have any other questions, you can ask in the Discord. We can ask in the comment section. It's a tad bit easier if you guys ask in the Discord, because some of these comments get hidden by all the bot messages, and I may miss them. Keep it mango, keep it easy, keep it stress-free, and enjoy your